Welcome to my home in Dublin. My name is Moya Farrell and I am an interior designer. So this is our kitchen. I suppose it was the first time I had worked on a project that was specifically for us as a family, so that was really nice, and it was kind of important that it was, reflective of me, my style, and suitable for family life. So it had to be functional, but it also had to be aesthetic and comfortable for all of us to live in. I did always know I wanted to kind of contrast colours. I wanted kind of a mix of lights and darks, and texture-wise I knew I wanted like lovely veined stone. The colour we went with on the walls is Batch Loaf by Colourtrend, and it's a lovely kind of a rich tone, but still very neutral, and I just wanted something that was warm and bright, would work in the kind of nicely well-lit space, but equally feel kind of cosy and really inviting. The cabinets are Foraging by Colourtrend, which again is a lovely neutral with kind of a little bit of depth and a little bit of warmth in it. And really those two colours are very similar, but that was very intentional. I wanted the colours to look very similar and just have a kind of a degree of contrast between them, because the real contrast is kind of the island and the units. The brilliant thing about Colourtrend paints is you can get any colour in every finish. So being a family home, I suppose I needed something that was wipeable and washable. So I used ceramic matte on all of the walls so that I can wipe off any spills, crayon, whatever it might be, and it just means that you get way longer out of your paint. The pantry kind of came about by a really fortunate accident. So that was all intended to be a utility space, but we have a structural wall that kind of cuts between the utility, and it would have ended up being just kind of a wasted space over there. So rather than have it kind of like an open area, we just decided to kind of box it off and create a pantry, which is most people's favorite room in the house. The colour we eventually settled on was Andy's Ash by Colourtrend. It's a stunning kind of a dusty, deep pink. I kind of wanted to pick something that was a little bit more traditional and kind of maybe even referencing like what, colours that would have been prominent in older houses that would have had pantries in the past. And I thought it was also an area, because of the size of it, that was kind of somewhere that was an opportunity to be a bit playful and have a bit more fun. We knew we were going to paint the entire space, so the shelves, the walls, everything. So we settled on that lovely kind of dusty pink by Colourtrend. We chose to use one colour in the pantry just to keep it really nice and kind of uniform. So the wall colour is the same as the shelves, and it just has this lovely kind of uniformity. It sounds so silly, but I always dreamed of having a utility. A space where you can just close it all away and have a super functional space. We actually repurposed the units that were in the existing kitchen in the house when we bought it, and they were not so lovely shade of yellow. So we were like, we'll paint the units. We repurposed the stone as well, and then we just added kind of our own Belfast sink, our own tiles, painted the walls, and then painted all of the units, and our builder kind of made the additional shelving unit. The colour we chose for the units in the utility it's Corbally by Colourtrend, and it is a gorgeous kind of dusty, earthy green, which I love, and I just feel it works really well with the dark countertop. Definitely, I think it's good to be brave with colour, and like it's such a temporary thing at the same time. You can change up colour so quickly, and it could transform a space. So I wanted the living room space to not just become the kind of the traditional good room and be a space that we actually used. I knew it was going to be a more kind of an evening time space. So I wanted it to be painted in a colour that was kind of cozy and inviting and kind of worked in that evening time light. I love going in there and how kind of cozy it is with like lamps on in winter. I used Oak Tone by Colourtrend in the living room. It's a really lovely, rich neutral that kind of has lovely brown undertones. It works really well with the kind of rich brown floor. And we had a green couch designed, which I knew I didn't want to go overly colourful. I thought the green was going to be the colours. The range of colours within Colourtrend is amazing. We are always looking for new colours. We might be between kind of two shades and we can find one in between with Colourtrend. There really is an unbelievable array of paint colours. I wanted to keep the lighting quite low, so we designed a pendant light that it doesn't get very bright. The textures throughout the room are largely kind of earthy, natural kind of linens. I love that kind of raw, organic material. It complements the space. I love the curtain material. I just think it's so natural. It's got a little bit of interest with the kind of the embroidered detail. It just adds such a layer of depth and richness and just create that cozy, homely feeling that so many of us are looking for. So the side table I actually got on auction. I just came across it and I thought that the richness of it with the richness of the floor worked really well with the wall colour and all the various colours going on in the scheme. I suppose I do bring continuity with colour. I think it's really nice to kind of keep a palette. And a palette can be so broad, you can have so many colours in it, but I think to keep the palette within the house the same. So if you kind of notice around here, a lot of the colours are quite muted. We use a lot of muted greens and pinks, be it on the walls or in the accessories. And I just think it's a really nice way to keep a theme going through the house, but not be too matchy-matchy at the same time. The guest bedroom is absolutely tiny, so I knew I wanted to create something that felt like a really nice, cozy hotel room. We used Corbally by Colourtrend in the guest room, painted on the panelling. It's actually the same colour that we used in the utility space. And I just loved the colour for its depth. It actually wasn't intentional that the colours were going to be the same. The paint somehow for the utility ended up in the bedroom, so both were painted the same shade, but we all arrived in and unanimously agreed that the darker colour in the bedroom was amazing. I think it's beautiful and earthy, but it's amazing in the evenings with lamp lights on. It's just a really inviting space, and I love that it kind of is welcoming to guests. We panelled the entire room. We knew both the bedroom and the ensuite were going to be kind of tiny, so behind two panel doors we have our little ensuite, which is just like a little surprise for guests. People love it. Actually, a lot of the time people don't realise it's even there, so it is like a genuine element of surprise hidden behind the two panel doors. I knew I wanted the bathroom to be quite playful with the striped tile, but I picked up on the kind of green of that tile and continued the green into the bedroom. I love using Colourtrend because it is a heritage Irish brand. It's a family-run business still, which is amazing. I also think that a really important factor for me and my clients is the fact that they are a more sustainable, safer paint, being that they're low VOC and water-based paints, which I think a lot of people are really keen to buy into. I would say my signature is probably bringing greenery and flowers into a space. I just love how it's just the perfect finishing touch, bringing an element of outside in and finishing a space off, adding a little extra touch that feels like you've gone the extra mile for somebody.